Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raking Profit. I'm excited to share with you this video because this is a coaching call that I'm going to share with you from inside of our private group over at resellingfreedom.com. That's our membership group where we have over 10 plus coaches, Amazon coaches, just like myself, who do live Zoom calls. We have a course, we have training, we have all different types of guides to help sellers start, scale, and grow their business. So I'm going to be sharing with you a coaching call in this video where we talk all about split shipments, okay? As we all know, if you haven't heard, Amazon's changed their shipping processes, the shipping fees, and now when you go to ship out your items, there's going to be a lot more split shipments, okay? The days of just putting everything in one box are kind of coming to an end, but there's actually a way you could still do it, but there's a lot of pros and cons and things that you have to know, okay? You don't want to just look at what Amazon gives you at surface level. You want to dive deep into all the various nuances, and there's a lot of nuances when it comes to the split shipments. We found a really awesome way to be able to deal with split shipments quickly and easily, okay? So, you're not there pulling your hair out, right? I'd be pulling it out if I had any, but I want to share with you this coaching call from inside of resellingfreedom.com. I hope you guys enjoy. If you want to learn more about resellingfreedom.com, check out the link down below if you want to become a member. And with that being said, let's get into the coaching call. Today, we're going to be talking about split shipments, okay? We're going to be talking about the update that Amazon pushed out March 1st with the different fees and the different shipping options. And I'm going to share with you how you can use GoToLister. We have Avery here. He's one of the founders of GoToLister. It's a listing software that I've been using. And we're going to talk about how GoToLister actually can make your listing process and dealing with split shipments a lot easier, okay? They've got some really cool features to help you reduce stress and be able to kind of deal with this process of split shipments faster. Because essentially, and I think we'll just jump right into it, essentially what happened on March 1st is Amazon made it much more likely that you're going to want to do split shipments, and they've made it a lot more painful if you don't do split shipments. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be slow. So we're really going to dive into it, but let's start from, scratch. Avery, what is a split shipment? Because a split shipment is nothing new.
So a split shipment's basically when you go to complete your batch on whatever software you're using, or maybe you're just using Seller Central. Amazon says, hey, we want you to send 50 books to this one location. We want you to send 20 books to another location and 30 books to another location. And the purpose for this, you have to think about it. Like, we have the Northeast in America, we have the South, we have the West Coast, and there's different numbers of buyers in different parts of the country. Most of the buyers are in the Northeast. So you have to think from Amazon's perspective, if they have 500 copies of a Dr. Seuss book in a California warehouse that has a 1 million sales rank book, they're not going to want you to send that book there. So instead, they might have you send it to Florida, across the country. So we all look at split shipments as like a terrible thing, but really, to avoid splits, you're almost cheating the system, because Amazon's going to do what they want to do at the end of the day, and they're just going to charge you for it. So if they want X book in the Northeast, they're going to get it there. Even if you pay for no splits and have them all sent to Memphis, eventually what they're going to do is transfer that one book anyway. So it might look better on the front end to consolidate all your shipments and pay for the premium service and get no splits, but really, like, you're not helping yourself out too much in the long run, because Amazon's going to collect those books. And like I said, if they have 500 copies of a Dr. Seuss book in one warehouse, they're going to send your book somewhere else anyway. So Amazon knows what they're doing. They have all the data on sales. They have all the data on how much inventory they have in different locations. And we as sellers have to deal with split shipments. So either, if you're super lucky, you don't get splits. That means Amazon truly wants your inventory at X warehouse, and they only are sending it to one warehouse. That's best case scenario. The next case is you do get splits, but like Steve, you pay for them all to be consolidated to one location. That's what Steve has done for years. I've always thought he was crazy for it. You're paying like upwards of, 50 cents, 30 to 50 cents a unit. Yeah. So for every 1,000 units, you're paying like almost $500, which is ridiculous. And so that's option number two. But even if you do that, you're sending all your books to one location, and then they're going to divvy them up to other locations anyway. That's why they're charging you the fee. They're charging you the fee because they're going to use that to pay for shipping to other locations. So I'll share my screen real quick, and this will look familiar for some of you guys. Within GoToLister, you have this batch, And if you use Excel list or Inventory Lab or Scan Lister, this is a very similar process. When you're done listing all your books, what you're going to do is click on Send Batch. And this is for all items, but I'm just using books for this example. What you'll see in this moment, what are we all hoping for? We're all hoping for no splits. We're crossing our fingers. Oh no, we got split shipments. So now we have two different warehouse destinations. So generally what I recommend for people is try to list about one box of books. And if you don't get splits, then all you have to do is accept that shipment. And if you don't get splits, it'll look like this. This is a screenshot, but it'll only have one warehouse destination here. And that's a good sign. You can accept shipments. And then in this case, what we do is we just send it to Amazon. There's no need to do box content and you're good to go. But in today's age, there's tons of splits. And depending on where you live in the country, you could get splits almost every single time. So what you want to do instead is I recommend listing like 150 to 200 books, which is going to be about 5 or 6 or 7 boxes of books. And the reason why we do this is Amazon usually does anywhere from 2 to 4 split shipments. So if you have a split shipment that has 10 units going to a warehouse, or let's say 5 units, you have a really small split. It's probably a small split because your batch isn't that big. You only had 40 items in the batch. So instead, list a larger quantity. Let's just say 300 items in a batch. That way, every split is big enough to fill up a box worth of books. And the reason why we want at least a box for each warehouse is so we don't get screwed with shipping charges. So if we can get every box over 30 pounds, our shipping cost per pound is going to be much cheaper. If you send one book to one warehouse in California, you can be paying $4 or $5 per pound for that book because it's only one book. But if you're sending 50 books, it's going to be much cheaper. Hopefully you guys understand that concept. And so really with this flow, what I try to do is list one box of books. If they don't get split, we send them to that warehouse and we're done. But if they do get split, then I go back to the batch. I list 300 books or items, and then we come back here and hopefully every split shipment, is above 10 or 20 units. That way each box is big enough to not get screwed in shipping charges. So this is kind of like the determining moment here. What we're going to do next is click on accept shipments. And if you use Excel list or Inventory Lab, you're not screwed after this phase, but it's very tedious and annoying at this phase. And I'm just being objective about the softwares. I'll give credit where credit's due. ScanLister actually does have a pretty good flow to deal with split shipments. And obviously, I'm showing you guys Go-To-Lister. We optimize for split shipments. But these other softwares like Inventory Lab, they basically say figure it out at this phase. So imagine having 300 books in your living room. There's 2 different warehouse destinations for them to go to, but you don't know what boxes to put them into.
And this is why, Avery, you picked on me earlier and you're like, oh, he's using inventory placement. It's crazy. You want to know why I did it? Because before you guys released the new features, right? And I'm with a prep center now, so it's a little bit different. It was a pain in the butt to do it. It was so time consuming that it wasn't worth it. But obviously you have the new features now, which we're going to get into. So you should let folks know before they think, this is the amateur hour with Rake and Profit. There's been some big changes lately that have made it easier.
Yeah, for sure. And you're also saving 15 cents per unit that you use. And during Q4, it's 30 cents per unit. So for every 1,000 items you send during Q4, you're saving $300 by using by providing box content. And Go-To-Lister makes it super easy. Again, ScanLister has a good flow for this, but Go-To-Listers, it's all web-based. So you don't even have to download anything. And there's that's the advantage that we have. And Inventory Lab, again, if you're using them, this phase is really a pain in the ass for booksellers using Inventory Lab. So now what you can do is just scan in the item. You can scan the actual F and SKU labels. At this phase, you've already labeled your books, right? You can either scan the F and SKU or the barcode of the book. Either one, it'll find it. Then click on add. So just put your scanner here or put this cursor here and then scan it with your Bluetooth scanner. Or I use the wired Whoa Nice scanner. A lot of you guys probably have this one too. Is this one you recommend, Steve? The Whoa Nice?
Yes, that's the one I have as well. It's like 20 bucks.
So you can literally just scan each book and it's going to tell you the warehouse destination it's going to go to. So this tells you it's going to go to GYR2 box number 1. So all you got to do is take a box like this, and you're going to write GYR2 on it. And then every time you scan a book and it says to go into GYR2, box 1, you just put it there. I'll give you guys another example. You can also click on view and you can see all the contents that are going to go into each box. And if you use an inventory lab or something, like what inventory lab wants you to do is just eyeball it. Okay, this one's going to go in this box. And then you have to eyeball it. But with GoToLister, you can just scan it. And then boom, it tells you which box it's going to go into. So SBB, go ahead.
Let me stop you really quick because I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Okay. So what you're saying is, say I have 300 items. Okay. Maybe it's books, maybe it's electronics, it's tools, it's anything, right? People need to know like GoToLister is for everything, right? I've listed almost every category with GoToLister. So if I had 300 items, I'm going to scan every single one in. I'm going to choose the condition, the price. I'm going to do all of that, right? I'm going to list it in. But then what's happening is I'm going to push it through and there's going to be like 5 different splits, right? So now you're thinking, okay, I have a huge stack of 300 items. They're all labeled. Where the heck do they go? Well, now what Avery's doing is you're scanning the actual label. So the FN SKU that's on your product, you're scanning each one in, and now it's identifying and telling you box 1, box 1. So what you do is you have all your boxes laid out based on the splits, but you might need more boxes for each shipment because you might have 80 items going to box to shipment 1. You might need multiple boxes, right? So essentially you're trying to. Got you. Okay.
Exactly. So SBD1 is 25 items. So this probably is still going to be able to fit in one box, but let's just say you needed to add 2 boxes to it. What you could do is simply click on once box 1's filled, click on add box, and now you're scanning into box 2. So that's how that works. And I'll show you guys a quick video so you have an actual visual of it. So what I did here in this video was, and this is how I do it every time. After I see what my split shipments are, I get the same number of boxes as I have split shipments, and I write the warehouse destination. So you can see up in the top left, that's actually the box. And go ahead and watch this real quick. So what I'm doing is I'm scanning the barcode of the book. Again, you can also scan the FN SKU. I just didn't label the books for this scenario. And if you wanted to in this phase, you can actually print the labels for the books, which is a pretty good flow actually. So if you want to wait to label your books to the box content phase, you can. So this tells me it's going to SMF3. You can see I just threw it in the box there. Let's scan the next book, see where it's going. Boom. This one's going to SMF3 as well. So I'm going to take that. So you have
all your boxes labeled in advance. So you know.
Exactly.
And then once one fills up and you're like, okay, I can't fill up box 1 anymore. You go in there, add another one, and now you know to put it in that one.
Correct. Yeah. And so this book right here just went to GYR3. So I throw it at the box behind me. And when you fill up the box, here's me in speed mode doing it. You can see it. I just see exactly what box. You can see there's box number 1 right there, SMF3, and then that's GYR2. And so I'm just scanning them into each one. And you can just see like the flow is super, super easy. And again, if you wanted to label in this phase, you could, which is a pretty interesting flow because you scan it, get the label, put it on, then throw it in the box. And you might think, why would you wait to label during this phase? But a lot of people do that because you can scan with GoToLister, you can scan as fast as you want during the batch creation. So you can just scan as fast as you want. You can literally probably list like 100 books in like 30 minutes, then come to this phase. And that's when you label. So that's another flow. Here's the end. You can see I have the name of the warehouse on each box and each box filled up, and we're good to go. So that's the box content flow. And you know, if you do box content, you're providing Amazon like which items are in which box. So they're going to check in your shipments faster. You're saving the money. You're actually sending the items where Amazon wants them to go. So like this whole idea of like avoiding splits, like there's underground softwares out there that help you prevent splits, like period. But it's like, do you really want to mess around with Amazon and not do what they want you to do? Like there's a reason why they want you to send your items to different warehouses. So why not respect that, you know? So I'm not going to get too into it, but I sell a lot of wholesale product. I definitely notice a difference when I list items on the East Coast versus the West Coast. We get sales quicker on the East Coast than we do on the West. And so if you avoid Amazon splits and you force them to a location, Amazon wants to sell your items as quickly as possible. So if you're avoiding that, you're going to get slower sales, in my opinion. That's my theory.
Now, what's the next step now that you have scanned them all in, all the products are in all the correct boxes? Do you have to leave GoToLister and go over to Amazon Seller Central to purchase the shipping?
Yeah, so this is brand new. No other software allows you to do this, but you can completely finish box contents and everything within GoToLister. I
So I'm
don't want to
curious
scan.
what everybody's thoughts are right now. How are you dealing with split shipments? I know Amanda doesn't have to worry about it. She's got a prep center now, so
Well, let me throw my 2 cents in because I'm usually a one box a day kind of guy. And like yesterday, I put in a batch and it split it 25, 7, and 2. So I'm going to follow this, I guess I'm just going to have to change my process so that I do more books at a time. Because
Yeah, I would do
usually,
more just to try and prevent those, try to beef up that shipment that's only 2 books. I would
okay,
try and
so
list more, but I mean, honestly, there's just some books that just want to go to some warehouses, and it's probably just worth it to send them there.
so if I end up with, you know, 3 boxes and one of them only has 3 books in it, what's the best thing to do? Take those out of the batch and use them later, or
If it's 1 book, I would probably take out. If it's 3, I'd probably send it. It just depends on what you want to do, but I want to sell my inventory faster, so eventually
Mhm.
I would honor it. But you could take them out for a while. Like you'll just know what books are going to go to which warehouse for a while, and so you could pull them out and like make a little side stack of them, and then eventually maybe it's big enough, 10, 20 units to go to one warehouse. But if it just keeps happening, I say screw it. I'm going to send it.
But then you're paying extra shipping for a small number of books.
Yeah, but I guess the alternative would be you pay the inventory placement, right?
Hmm.
And then you have to have a facility center transfer, most likely. I'm just kind of guessing that that's what's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen in every case, but if you force your book to go to one warehouse that Amazon doesn't want it to be at, they're either going to facility transfer it or you're just not going to buy box like you would have before because you're further away from the buying customer. That's my theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, let me ask you a question, Bruce. So for folks who don't know, with the new changes March 1st, there's now three options that you can choose from in terms of your splits inside of your actual fulfillment settings. There's minimal split shipment splits. So this is the premier, most expensive option. It'll let you ship everything to one location in the region of your choice, east, west, or central. And standard items cost like 25 to 50 cents per unit. That's minimal shipment splits. Then there's partial shipment splits. This is the mid-tier option. It's cheaper, but still expensive. Lets you ship to 2 to 3 fulfillment centers in the region of your choice for about 15 to 30 cents per unit. And then there's Amazon optimized shipment splits. This is a free option, optimized for Amazon, no inbound fees, but you'll have to ship to 4+ different locations. There's no regional choice. Your shipments will probably be spread across the country. If you don't go in here and make a choice in your settings, it'll default to the partial shipment split options, resulting in multiple options, like ship multiple destinations, placement fees, which is about 15 to 30 cents. So those are the three options: minimal, right, which is the most expensive; partial, which is the mid-tier; and then there's the free option, which is pros and cons. Bruce, which one did you choose in your settings, or did you just leave it at partial, which is the default?
Well, I saw the email that went out to all the people who said, you really need to go change this. So I went and looked at it. So prior to this, I was doing basically minimal. And then if I didn't like how it split it, I would turn it on to the full. But now I've got it set for the optimized because I'm just trying this now for the first time.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, well, they moved this on me. And, is since I'm doing one box at a time, my first thing is I try to send the batch and see if it splits it or not. If it doesn't split it,
Yep.
it's fine. If it splits it, then I decide whether or not I want to pay the $9 for the $600 of books. So I've been kind of eating that $9 when I needed to just to get it all out in one box.
Yeah. And just to recap, there's pros and cons to all of this, right? So, you might choose minimal shipment splits, which It's the premier option, lets you ship everything to one location. So your overall shipping, so say you have 30 books. If you ship 30 books to location, whatever, maybe it costs $8, right? So it's really cheap. But the downside to that is you're having to pay for, 25 to 50 cents per unit. And you have to understand, there's going to be a ton of FC transfers, most likely, like Avery had alluded to. They might punish you, right, for the buy box possibly, because maybe they're going to leave it in locations that aren't, based on Amazon's numbers. Maybe it's not the best place to have it. But if you use Amazon optimized shipments, which is the other side of the spectrum, right, the free option, maybe those 30 books go out to 4 different locations, which it's nice because this is free. But then instead of paying $9 to one place, like the minimal shipment splits, now you might be paying $8 here, 5, 11, 6. So now it's quadruple the actual shipping price. So you're losing on the actual UPS postage, even though you're winning on the other side. What are your thoughts on that, Avery? Because this is an interesting little question right here.
Yeah, it just comes down to personal preference. You got to find a flow that works for you. If you find that every time you list 200 items, you generally get like 2 destinations that are pretty beefed up, start doing that. And generally, like the more items you list, the more favorable the splits are. Versus if you're going to list just 50 units, there's a high chance that you're going to get that 2 units to some warehouse. So it just comes down to you. Like if you know that you only ever get 1 split or 2 splits, and every time the split is like really small, so like 49 units are going to one warehouse and one's going to another. If that's the nature of splits you're getting, then maybe your best flow is to keep pulling the book. But again, back to what I was saying earlier, a lot of times you can't, that one book is going to want to go to that one warehouse no matter what. And so, it's a tough issue, but I personally like the split shipment flow because then you have a consistent flow. It's like, I know every single time I'm going to list 200 books, and I know every single time I'm going to have to deal with a few splits, but I have a good flow for it. I'm going to scan them in. It's going to tell me what warehouse it's going to. And that way you're not just like, your whole flow isn't completely screwed up when Amazon decides to start splitting more. It's just like you already have a way to combat it.
Also, one thing, it's kind of like a mindset shift. Maybe you're sending out 50 books, right? And maybe it's like 20, maybe it's like 25, 23, and then there's 2 going to another place. You might be looking at your numbers, Bruce, or for anybody thinking like, oh, it's $5 to ship each one of those books. But don't look at it from a short-sighted like standpoint. Look at it as like add all the shipping up and divide it by your total unit. So that's really your per unit shipping cost, instead of thinking like, oh, these 2 books, it's an extra $3 each that it's pulling out of my profits. I mean, it's just a different way of shipping. So, I mean, it is what it is. Or you wait and you sit on it and you deal with cash flow issues. Obviously, if you're thrifting and getting books for a buck or two, it doesn't hurt as much. But if you're doing eBay to Amazon, traditional OA, wholesale, your cost of goods is a lot higher. And I know for me personally, the cash flow is like the biggest thing that I'm
Yep.
always working on. So if you're a
Yep.
thrifter, maybe you can get away with waiting for a little bit longer, possibly, because that cost of goods is so low in comparison.
Yeah. I would just experiment with listing 200 books and see have you done that, Bruce? Have you listed like 200 at once?
I've never had 200 books at once in my possession.
Okay.
I've got 200 boxes of books sitting in my storage unit.
Yeah. I would maybe try to do 200 at once and just see, if the split shipments get beefed up a little bit.
But then again, if he's only sourcing 50 per week, it's not smart to sit on those and wait for a month to ship it all out at once. You know what I mean, Avery? So it's like, it's one
Yeah.
of those things, it's,
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
that's the interesting thing about business, guys. All of our situations are so unique that, there's nothing wrong with taking out a pros and cons list and writing it all down and making a decision. I do that all the time.
Amanda's asking, do you get split shipments with wholesale when they're all the same item? You can, but if you case pack them, you won't get splits. So when we do wholesale shipments, we always, when you create your batch within GoToLister, you just select case pack. And then when you list them, like it's impossible for splits to occur.
All right, let's get back to what we were talking about. So we talked about what are split shipments. We
Yeah.
talked about the
You
pros
wanted
and
me to
cons.
show
Yeah.
the inside how to send the box content. So when you're done scanning all your books in, or items, what you're going to do is click on send box content here, and it's going to show you this page right here, which allows you to enter your weights, the sizes of the boxes. And I'm entering super low weights right now because it's actually going to charge my account. So
Pause this for a second. Pause this for a second. So right now
yeah,
I see, up at the top, FBA 17 QTD, that, and that's one location. Is this, okay, so this is one location. Wait, are these
this
three?
is all three splits. This is all the boxes. This is
Oh,
all the splits and all the boxes. So this is the phase where you're telling Amazon for all the shipments, this is every single split, how many boxes are in each and how much each of them weigh. So go to list, you already provided all the boxes and everything. So all you have to do is enter the weights now and the box dimensions. And this
so
previously had to be done in Seller Central, but now you can keep it all within GoToLister. You don't have to go to Seller Central at all.
got you. So that's why you wanted to, that's why you said before on the boxes, write down GYR3, GYR2, because you're going to need that to
Yeah,
match up at this point when you
exactly.
Now, what would this look like if SC K4 had two boxes? Would there just be a drop down right
Yeah,
underneath it?
box 2 would show up here as well. So yeah, all the boxes for the shipment are going to show up here.
Wow, so this is really cool. So now you don't have to jump to Amazon Seller Central, go back and forth. It's literally all in here. And what this is going to push through to Amazon,
Yep.
and very cool.
And then you click on submit here. And you can literally do everything here. It's going to give you the labels in just a second. As you can see, you can print the thermal labels on a 4x6 or just like a regular sheet of paper if you have a regular printer. And it's going to open this up, print your labels, and you're good to go. No need to even go to Seller Central. Just accept the charges here, and it'll complete the shipment.
So just to summarize, Avery, the way GoToLister helps, the big thing, and this is the reason why I would never do splits before, is because if I would list a whole bunch of them, it was a big guessing game of what box to put it in,
Yeah.
how to organize everything. I was always so paranoid of, losing my stuff. And I'll be honest, like one of the reasons I also did it is because my margins are so high with eBay to Amazon that I was like, whatever, I'm just going to pay it. But if I would have known, which, when I kind of transferred to a prep, this was all rolling out and whatnot. I mean, this makes
Yeah.
dealing with splits really, really easy.
Dude,
I
you want to
mean,
see a funny video real quick of me 5 years ago listing books?
let's see.
Dude, check this out. This is me. So I was a big Reezy Resells fan, and he taught me how to do it this way. But honestly, it's kind of a nightmare. Like it's a decent flow, but look at me. I'm in the garage, and look how much work I had to do. Like I just put all these books in different piles, and you can just see it's all spread out. It takes like a lot of planning. So this method, what we were doing is we were printing on 30 up labels. You can see me. So I have to touch the book like 3 times. And every time, like you can see me scanning the books, I have to go back through a whole second time. And with the box content flow, yeah, you're touching the book twice, but the second time you touch the book, you're putting it in the box. So look at how many times I'm having to go back to the books. I'm using 30 up labels. I'm writing the warehouse destination on each book. So
Jeez.
my point is like with this method, you're really able to keep everything concise. Like you scan all the books one time, then you scan them the second time. And the second time you scan the book, you're putting it in the box, and that's the last time you'll ever touch it. And with this method, I was like writing down warehouse destinations. Look at this. I was writing them down on the labels. You see this? And I was putting like the pink is going to one split. So this is what GoToLister does for you. It just tells you where it's going. So that was a nightmare. I
Let
can't
me
believe
ask you.
that's a good flow.
Let me ask you, Avery, for anybody who's going to use GoToLister split shipments, is there anything that stands out in common mistakes that maybe new users make when they're doing their split shipments? Anything that could get
Yeah.
you in trouble? Anything that can cause chaos on the back end with Amazon?
Yeah, I would just say like the biggest thing you can mess up is probably forgetting to add a box. So let's just say you have one split that's 150 books. What you'll probably do is be like, oh my gosh, I love this flow. It's going so good. And then you'll have 3 boxes filled for that one shipment. And you'll be like, oh crap, I forgot to add a box on GoToLister. So be sure to click add box on GoToLister when you have a second box for the same warehouse. That's probably the biggest mistake people will make. You'll probably make it at least one time, but
What
to
happens
try,
if you don't? What happens if you don't do it? Do you have to like revert all the way back because
you would just
Amazon?
have to go back and remove the books from the boxes. And so you just have to
Mm.
manually X them out on GoToLister.
But
So
if you always have your boxes, if you're always taking scanning it in and putting it into a box, and you wouldn't make, I guess the mistake is if you're not putting it into the box immediately, right? Because you'll just forget.
the mistake would be like when you get the second box, not adding a box on GoTo. So when you
Oh,
get the second box and you don't add it
yeah.
to GoTo, then it just doesn't
Uh,
concern which box.
so you're
That's probably
putting
the
it in,
biggest.
yeah. You're putting it in the second box, but GoToLister doesn't know you have a second box.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
I'd be curious, like, people could try the labeling during the box content phase. Theoretically, that would be the fastest way to do it because then you can take advantage of the GoToLister queuing feature. Everybody knows how fast that is. You can scan as fast as you want on the listing phase, and you don't even have to label the books until the box content phase. So you can literally list books lightning speed without even labeling them. Then Amazon's already created the FNSKUs, so you can equally scan as faster in the box content phase because it's already known information. Like the FNSKU is already downloaded, so you can scan it, FNSKUs print it out, put it in the book, put the book in the box for the last time. So I guess another common mistake would be not making your shipments big enough. Experiment around. Like if you just don't get splits on 50 items and they can all fit in one box, just do the one box method, But
Yeah.
if you do get splits, experiment with listing 200 and see what happens, you know?
There's a lot of, there's guarantees, right, in business. And one of the guarantees on Amazon is things are going to change. Every 3 months to a year, there's some small to big changes all the time. And we've seen them over the
Yep.
years. There's been so many changes. For anyone who's kind of panicking right now, just know, things will settle down. You got to give it a month or so. Like all of us, we're going to experiment, see what works, what doesn't work. We're all going to make mistakes, and it's going to be on to the next problem of selling on Amazon. But that's business in general, right? If you're not wanting to deal with problems or stress, you probably shouldn't be in business as much
Yeah.
as the YouTube gurus would tell you.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, or
Yeah.
fortunately, builds character.
Yep.